Alright, good afternoon. This is another Genius Thought. So come on, let's be honest this afternoon. Um, let's be honest about I'm gonna continue this what I got going with let's talk about goddesses or let's talk goddesses. So last video was Hecate and Hera. So I'm gonna start this one off with Hathor and we're gonna look and dig into a little bit of her attributes and what she represents. Alright, so Hathor is the matron goddess of women, the guardian of females of all species. She is the embodiment of the female principle. Hathor is the spirit of joy, love, dance, alcohol, and perfume. A primordial spirit, she has dominion over sex, birth, pleasure, intoxication, magic, music, and death. Hathor has dominion over human reproduction and the fruits of lovemaking. Hathor is the celestial cow. The Milky Way spills from her breast. One of the most ancient Egyptian luminaries. Her veneration extended as far as Ethiopia, Somalia, Libya, and Phoenicia. Hathor may or may not be the same spirit as Lady Asherah of the sea, with whom she shares dominion of the Sinai Peninsula. Okay, so you can see a little bit of her attributes, what she represents, and how you can see this in women that you may know. Because these goddesses that I'm be going over and going through, these attributes are going to remind you of the different types of women that you'll see around you, whether it be your mother, grandmother, sister, aunt, wife, girlfriend, etc. Whatever they play in your life, granddaughter, daughter, wherever they fit in your life, you're going to see a lot of these principles from these goddesses that I'll be talking about. But so that's Hathor. And if it's more you want to know, like, so I can look at other things, like you got manifestations for her, iconography, attributes, which attributes they say is a mirror, frame drum, and sistrum, which sistrum. The sistrum, a percussion instrument, is sometimes decorated with Hathor's image, as are Egyptian hammer as well. Let me get into that too, about what represents her, the type of images, which is the cow, gazelle, and cat. And cat also correlates with bass as well, which I'm gonna make bass the next goddess that I read about. So yeah, just looking over see if there's anything else that I might want to give you guys on her that you can look at. But like I say, you want to learn more about her, you can also look up stuff yourself. I'm just kind of give you guys a brief synopsis so you can kind of get a feel of where I'm going, with these goddess attributes and how they're being applied today in the world we're in. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to Bass. Or shall I say Bastet? Okay, Bastet, great cat goddess, has dominion over sex, fertility, marriage, magic, music, childbirth, prosperity, joy, dance, and healing. In short, the pleasures of life. She protects humans against infertility, dangers of childbirth, evil spirits, illness, and bodily injuries, especially those caused by venomous creatures. A tomb inscription says, Bastet bestows life, prosperity, and health every day, and long life and beautiful old age. Bastet offers special protection to women and children and serves as matron of magicians and healers. Her cult began in the Nile Delta swamps. The earliest known portrait of Bastet dates to circa 3000 BCE, or as I would hear Dr. Ben say, before the Comet Era. By about 950 BCE, she was worshipped throughout Egypt. For a while, she was the most popular goddess in the kingdom. Her veneration reached its zenith during the reign of Asorkon II from 874 to 853 BCE, when a major temple was erected at her cult city, Bubastis. Devotion to Bastet officially survived until 30 BCE and the Roman conquest, the Romans having little sympathy for animal-shaped gods. Little sympathy. So what that means is, the destruction of them and an issue, that they had with the feminine goddesses, which, I'll delve into later on. I'm just going to get through, like I say, going over a few different goddesses, and then I'm going to start, kind of eventually venturing over into other different things, dealing with this spirituality and this spiritual journey that we are on. It's just a different perspective when we starting off here. All right, so her annual festival in Bubastis was Egypt's most popular, a precursor of modern Mardi Gras. It was renowned for parties, revelry, and drunkenness. Herodotus, the Greek traveler and historian writing in the 5th century BCE, claimed that more wine was consumed in Egypt during this festival than during the entire rest of the year. Although many details are lost, Bastet's festival celebrated female sexuality and generative power. Boats sailed up the Nile toward Bubastis. As each barge approached towns and settlements, it would halt, and the mainly female celebrants on board would loudly hail local women congregating on the riverbanks. They would shout sexual obscenities to each other, dance wildly, and perform enosurami, the ritual act of lifting up the skirts to expose the vulva, associated with laughter, healing, and defiance of grief. Bastet may be the wife and or daughter of Ra, the sun. Among the spirits described as her sons are Maias, Kansu, and Nefertim. She is depicted as a cat, often bejeweled, or as a woman with a cat's head, sometimes surrounded by kittens and fashionably dressed in a green or blue dress. And of course, she's domestic cats are her servants and sacred animals. And also, just a little cliff note, they have her offerings. Her name may be related to a word meaning perfume. Ancient Egyptian perfume was typically in the form of a salve. Offer her precious cream perfumes or offerings that benefit her sacred animal, cats. Okay. So just from those two today that I read about, you can clearly see or point out some of the similarities between the two. I know one thing that stuck out, was like perfumes and basically artists, dancers, performers, and people of that nature. But you can also see with Bastet how a lot of behavior that you see women doing today ties into that. But it would be a time and season for it, opposed to it being something that you would see every day, all day, and online all the time. It was a certain time and season for them to showcase, just feelings that they have within, or just whatever they want to get out to express themselves. It'd be time set up for that. But now it's just oversaturated with certain aspects. That's with anything, overindulgence, it becomes toxic if it's too much of it. So I just want, and I'm also making these for a lot of the women that's into the metaphysical and the spirituality, and once they get on this level, or once they get on this journey for themselves, to me it looks like it's a lot of ego trip, because I noticed like a lot of it is they're working with the goddesses with the combative aspect, and the so what some will call Jezebel aspect, or promiscuous aspect. they point aspects out that would benefit them, but it seems like not a lot of them that would challenge them, which is more of, in today's reading with Hathor, more of the mother figures. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry about that. TV was acting weird. I was in the middle of watching something. It went off. Then all of a sudden, while I'm talking, it just miraculously just came back on. Anyway, but yeah, it seems that they just want to be on that aspect of it, and it seems like they use it more so to be competing with men, which causes them to cross over into masculine energy, because when it comes to the mother goddess, or the nurturing goddesses, even with them, they'll want to stick to, their darker aspects of that goddess instead of the light aspect. Don't get me wrong, of course, it's not all women. Like, we all seem like we always gotta reiterate that. But like I say, if it don't apply to you, then let it go. But if it do, then maybe, I'm just giving you something else to maybe think about. Maybe you are putting too much energy into one aspect of the goddess, or to a more fiercefulness instead of the more loving and nurturing. Which, you're that saying, you get more flies with honey, So just something I want them to think about and consider, because as I, just like anybody else go about my day, and I just sit back, you see some videos, you see some comments, you see just how women engage in life. It just seems like they're just more fierce and not as feminine, not as caring, as nurturing, as you would assume, what I'm saying, or what used to be accustomed. But as you can see, like say, nothing new under the sun. Women have always been women, but it's just now you got platforms. Everyone has a camera, so now it's kind of like all this is going out. And if they come across some information that sounds good, they're gonna take it and run with it if it makes them feel good. But if it's something that's convicting, then they're not gonna be too much on that side. They're not gonna deal with that as much. They're gonna deal with, what's more convenient. But if it's conviction, if it's something that's gonna, maybe challenge them to look within, to see if maybe some things that, they can adjust, to kind of get back in tune with themselves, and maybe that's something they might want to consider. But that's it for the day. You know what I'm saying? Hathor and Bastet. I'll be back with more. Just bear with me if you have any questions, comments, like anything else. Be respectful. I mean, I'm open. You got another opinion? I mean, I'm open, because it's just a genius thought, my genius opinion about it. And like I say, you can read up on this on your own, which I encourage you to. You get a different interpretation or understanding of it. But I'm just speaking on what I see. I just think a lot of aspects of the goddess are not being embraced as well as much as the more darker side of the goddess. So I'm gonna continue on, but y'all be easy, be cool, POR, and that's that.